Can you tell us a bit about your role with the Mamelodi Warriors and what your main responsibilities are?
Alright, so my name is Given Majuba. I'm a fighter from Mamelodi Warriors, and my biggest role now is being a coach. I'm the head coach of all the professional fighters and advanced fighters.
Okay. How long have you been coaching Mamelodi Warriors?
I've been coaching from, because I started training there 2008, and then I started coaching I say just after 2010. So I was mixing coaching and fighting. So, but now I'm more focused into the coaching and also fighting. Yes.
What made you want to coach this team?
Mamelodi Warriors made me what I am today. I have my own gym. I'm a professional under Mamelodi Warriors. So whatever that I know now, I learned it from Mamelodi Warriors. So it's my way of giving back to whatever that they made me, and then the road years, uplifting the township goals. Yeah.
So what's your coaching background? How did you get into the sport, and what experiences prepared you for leading the Mamelodi Warriors?
Yeah. So I started 2003 from boxing. I was only doing boxing that time, and I joined Mamelodi Warriors 2008. We were only doing kickboxing that time, and then from there then we met someone. He's a Muay Thai guy. Then we started doing Muay Thai, mixing kickboxing and Muay Thai. We went to some grappling sessions, some wrestling sessions, and then we went into MMA. So now we try to mix everything. We do MMA, kickboxing, and boxing also, and Muay Thai.
And Muay Thai?
Yes.
Okay. So looking back now at the 2025 season, how would you summarize the team's overall performance?
The 2025?
2025, yeah.
Right. I would say what I saw last year is, for me as a coach, I saw some improvement in terms of performance, even though we didn't get the results that we wanted. But then the performance, the guys have improved in terms of skills and the mindset. But then obviously they dropped that, being aggressive. Before they used to be very aggressive, but then they were careless. Now they're becoming more careful. Because of now they've learned more skill, so they're becoming more advanced in terms of skill. So this year we are looking at improving that. So we want to do a combination of them being aggressive and them being smart in the fight. Yeah.
Okay. So what were some of the biggest challenges you faced the past year, and how did you overcome them?
Yeah.
So I already hear you explaining.
Yeah. I say the challenges was the results, losing a lot of fights. To me as a coach, it was not sitting well. But then, like I said, looking at the performance and the improvement in terms of skill, in terms of their fight IQ, that's why I would say, okay, sharp, this is a win for me, but the results were not good. So we're looking on, getting good results this year. So not only the performance-wise, but then good results in terms of winning.
So what moments or achievements from 2025 are you most proud of, both personally and as a team?
I'll say skill-wise, the improvement in terms of skills. And in the kickboxing part, we got a lot of good kickboxers. They did very well last year. And the MMA side, that's where we are struggling, in terms of our ground game and how to control our opponents and how to finish it on the ground. That was the problem. But then that's what we were working on last year. And then this year, we're hoping for the better this year. Yeah.
So they are mostly boxing fighters, most of them Mamelodi Warriors.
Yeah. We come from a kickboxing background.
Okay.
So in kickboxing, we dominate more in the stand-up, fighting like kickboxing, or even if it's Muay Thai. So the problem is now, when we transition into MMA, so we're not able to mix. It's either we are standing or it's either we are on the ground. So now at least we can combine, we can stand and then also fight on the ground.
So how long have they been in MMA?
All the pro fighters, I'll say, like Lucky has been training for more than 10 years now. So most of them, they've been training for, I'd say 5 to 10 years.
Alright, so how did the team's preparation and mindset evolve over the course of the 2025?
I was there.
How did their mindset get better over the course of 2025?
Yeah. So that's why I say, 2024, it was a very good year for us. We had very good results, right? But then the thing is, they were still starting their professional career. So they were very aggressive, they were very careless also at the same time. So 2025, we were fixing that, we were working more on their fight IQ. So in terms of their skills and controlling the fight and dominating the fight. So I think the adjustment, for them adjusting to that level, and then the results were them losing, understand? So this year now, it will be a different story because at least they've adjusted, now they can, this year they'll do better.
In your view, how has the Mamelodi Warriors skill level and competitiveness grown under your coaching?
How is that?
Their competitiveness, their skills, how has they grown under your coaching?
Yeah, they've grown in a very big way. Like I say, it's easier for me to coach them. It's easier for me to coach them. They work very hard. They show up the commitment, and then when they fight very hard. When they lose, you'll see, okay, they lost, but then these guys, they fought very well. They wanted to win, but then they couldn't win. Even if they won, you'll see, okay, this guy wanted to win in terms of their skill and then mindset again also. So yeah, they've improved very.
Are there any particular fighters or rising stars on the team you'd like to highlight? Maybe someone who made strides in 2025, someone that impressed you?
Well, there's a lot of names. I say all my fighters are different. They've got different strength and different.
So you can't really name.
Yeah. So all of them. I'll say Lucky I know is a very good fighter. He's a very good cardio. He push all rounds. And there's Tevazo is a tough guy. That one is going very fine. Like Tevazo, I'll say Tevazo anytime he'll be a champion. He can take anyone anytime. There's Vilagazi, he works very hard. There's Khawere, he hits very hard. And then there's Reginald is a very good kickboxer. There's Kaya is a very good kickboxer also. There's Bridget on the ladies' side. There's Princess. So I've got a lot of fighters that I can name. The thing is, there's too much. There's too much talent. Yeah.
Okay. So then, what are your main goals and expectations for the fighters this year?
So this year, what I would say, I want to see good results. We worked on whatever that we wanted to work last year. So this year, it will be a very good year for us. Last year has been a learning curve, So this year, we're promising a very good year. So we should.
So we're looking forward then.
Yes.
Okay, how is the team preparing differently this year compared to last? Are there any new training methods, strategies, or areas that you are focusing on?
So this year at least now we'll be going around, in terms of skills, sparring. We're going somewhere for grappling. We'll have other guys who will, go for sparring so that we can have a different feel. Because now sparring each other every day, we get used to each other. It's no longer challenging. So when we go and spar with other guys, it's challenging. We will start to adapt other styles and things like that. And then mentally now, I'm working more into the psychological part. We sit down, sometimes we talk, we fix other things. Because we are fighters, we go through a lot, we don't get enough time with our families, we don't get enough time with our friends. So we sit down and then we fix things like that.
What milestones or benchmarks will you be targeting throughout the year? Like for instance, let's say in a period of 4 months or 3 months, is there a target that you want to reach throughout the year?
So I'll say, in the first, most of them they fight in the EFC, which is the biggest MMA organization here in Africa. So in its first 3 events, you want to see most wins. I would say most wins. I know if you get most wins in that fight, and then some of the guys will be number 1 contenders. If you can see Tebazo being number 1 contender in his second fight this year, in these 2 fights of EFC, then yes, that's what we want to see. And then seeing Lucky winning 2 fights at least in his first 2 fights in the EFC. And then, seeing the other guys also being committed, because there's other guys who are you know, because of the losses, they lost that motivation. Seeing them coming back and committing, that's the other thing that I want. Yeah.
Okay. Looking ahead, what's your vision for the culture and the characters of the Mamelodi Warriors as a whole, as a team?
You know, it's growing Mamelodi Warriors. Not only me being a head coach, but then, you know, even these guys, you know, for them to give back in the community and growing other fighters as well, and then having more training partners from the beginners. You know, if we grow them, then we have more training partners. Or else we only have a few guys who are professionals and the other guys are beginners. If we can push those guys and then push them to be advanced fighters, you know, have more training partners, and then the team is growing. Yeah.
So it's about growing the team as a whole. Is there also, are you looking to branch into other sports, like isn't like MMA to kickboxing to other karate? Is there like that vision as a whole?
We're already doing that. So we compete everywhere. So like now there's an EFC tournament coming on now February, and then there's other guys who will be fighting March in a kickboxing fight, and then especially the amateur fights, then we have amateur fighters going to a boxing tournament, kickboxing tournaments, and grassroots events for MMA, which is good for the development, you know. But for the pro guys, we're looking into MMA, kickboxing, and Muay Thai. Yeah.
So is that what you're currently focusing on this year?
Yes.
Those three?
Yes, kickboxing, Muay Thai, and MMA.
MMA.
Yes.
But in the future, you're still thinking of?
Yeah, so and boxing also.
And boxing?
Yeah, so only this for karate, I would say no. Maybe in terms of, you know, skills, then yes, but then now going to the tournaments and that,
Okay.
Yeah, but then kickboxing, yes, boxing, yes, MMA, and what is this, Muay Thai. Yeah.
So are we gonna see maybe any fights from boxing this year?
We're gonna see a lot of boxing fights. Yeah.
So what are the people saying, the community or maybe the supporters of Mamelodi Warriors? What do you say? What would you say to them to look forward to as a team? What they should look forward to?
I would say, well, the guys are working very hard. We are working very hard to make our community proud. We know they always support us, you know, through happiness and sadness. The Mamelodi is always supporting us. So we want to make them proud. We're going to bring the belt to Mamelodi.
How has coaching been for you? Is it demanding? How do you personally stay motivated and inspired day to day? You don't have days where it becomes tough or challenging for you?
Yeah, it's challenging. I would say it's a good job, but then at the same time it's very challenging because now you're working with people, you know, working with different people, and then again, me being a fighter again, you know, balancing fighting and coaching demands a lot of time. If I'm coaching for 6 hours and I have to train again myself, it's a bit challenging. So balancing, it's a bit challenging. But then, you know, I love it, so I give all the time. Yes.
So how do you handle as well? Do you ever have issues when it comes to a student that's maybe difficult in terms of learning, or maybe difficult to deal with? Have you had any of those challenges as well?
Yeah, I get a lot of those challenges. But then, like I say, to me it's like a calling. You know, I have all the patience, and then at least I can talk to my students because I trained from small age, and then I also train all the people. So I have all the patience, thanks to God. You know, yeah, and I try to motivate everyone.
So, if you could give one message to the team supporters heading to 2026, what would it be?
I would say, no, they must look forward to Mamelodi Warriors. This year is going to be a good year. This year they're gonna see us rising. You know, with their support, we're gonna do big things.
And finally, what legacy do you hope to build here with the Mamelodi Warriors?
Yeah. You know, with me, I want to build something. You know, my vision again is to, like how I am right now. I know I'm going somewhere. I've got my own gym in Centurion, in the suburbs. So seeing the Mamelodi guys doing the same thing, and then seeing them teaching the young ones to do the same thing. You know, we're changing a lot of people, we're taking people out of drugs, out of a lot of bad things. So that's the vision. You know, that's seeing like a big crowd in Mamelodi training and staying away from bad things. Yeah, that's the vision.
Are you also hoping to take Mamelodi Warriors internationally, or are you just focusing to make it big here in South Africa, or is there a bigger vision than that?
Yeah. International is that's the goal. That's the goal. That's the goal.
No, thank you so much. Looking forward to you and your team doing well this year, and
So,
all the best.
yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay.